Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. It's been exactly 1 month since I started Project Me, and it's been an awesome experience so far. Really cool. So I got to keep the video shorter, I'm going to get right into this. We're going to break it down. How has it went spiritually? How am I doing physically? We're going to do a little Q&A because I've got some questions from folks that have commented and sent messages. And then I'll tell you what habits I'm going to implement this week, which is getting ready to start tomorrow on week 5. So we'll jump right in spiritually. This has it's already had such a impact on my life. I'm feeling awesome. I have really worked on walking toward the Lord and not just waiting on Him to come get me. I'm seeking that out, and it is starting to pay dividends. One of the most profound things that has happened to me, and especially on this journey, is I was able to give some forgiveness to someone that I have held a grudge with for a long time, many years. They probably have no idea that I even still held a grudge against them, and they may not care, but it doesn't matter to me because giving forgiveness releases that weight off of my shoulders. All that did by me being still angry at that person and resenting that person was bring negative energy toward me. So it hit me out of nowhere. The Lord pulled on my heart and said that it was time. Let this go, and He told me that it was going to feel fantastic. And the Lord didn't lie to me. It just like weights lifted off of my shoulders. How much better I felt when I was able to do that. So that was awesome. I'm just I've never felt this good mentally. I don't think, and this is only 4 weeks in. So good stuff there. Physical, everybody wants to know those numbers. So in the last 4 weeks, I have lost 16 pounds. I'm now down under 300 pounds for the first time in a little while. So that's good. And let's just hope that that keeps going. I think it will. I want to keep a natural, slow, steady pace for lots of different reasons. But we're on track right there. So some of the Q&A, one of the questions that somebody asked me was, what's been my biggest struggle throughout Project Me, and how did I fight through, or how am I currently fighting through? And I couldn't narrow this down to one. There's been several struggles, some bad, some not so bad, but it was a tie for the worst. And the first one was how I felt physically after a drastic diet change. Week 1 and 2 were terrible. Just a couple days into Project Me, my moods changed. I was very irritable. Very just, I wasn't, I was just grumpy, man. Every afternoon, by the time I fought through a work day and got home, I was just grumpy. I was in a bad place. And luckily, my wife and all 3 daughters were really supportive, and they wanted to see me get through that stage of Project Me. And I gotta tell you, I wanted to give up. I was feeling, I didn't like being that irritable. I didn't like being grumpy. I didn't like snapping at the people that mean the most to me. And I almost gave up a couple times early in this, real early. And they pushed me. They told me that they were going to be patient with me, and they were going to show me grace, and they wanted me to keep going. They encouraged me, and I'm glad they did. This past week, my moods have been better than they have in a couple years, probably. So that is awesome. Feeling great. Weight's coming off. Starting to see differences in my clothes and stuff like that. So that's exciting. So, thanks to them for getting me through that. And then the second struggle that has been very hard for me is not working so much, especially after work. I haven't cut my regular work schedule at all. I still work the same amount of hours, which is nothing overbearing whatsoever. The problem I had is when I would get home from work, I would work out in the shop or work on the house renovation or work on somebody else's, whatever the case may be, till 10 or 11 at night, every night, and all day Saturday, all day and night Sunday. And it just wasn't leaving me time for anything, and it was really wearing on my health. I'm a worker by nature, and I have all kinds of stuff that I need to get done. So it's been incredibly hard for me to limit the amount of work that I do. My goal is 1 to 2 hours a day after work, and that's it. I work 1 or 2 hours a day after work, and I allow myself a lot more on the weekends. But I still am making myself stop and do other things. I don't care if it's nothing or if it's reading a book or exercising, taking walks, whatever the case may be, hanging out with the kids, whatever, as long as I'm not working. That I'm still struggling with. I think I'm fighting through, and it's just self-management. I got to keep working on that. Someone asked me about healthy recipes. It's too much to put in one of these update videos. Maybe I will do a recipe video in a few weeks, put together some pictures of the meals and talk about that. Some of the stuff that I implemented throughout the 4 weeks, I've got a couple notes here. Snooze button, I don't use it anymore. I've beaten that battle. I don't use the snooze button anymore. I wear a seatbelt every time I'm in a vehicle, which is something that I did not consistently do ever. I'm reading or at least audio booking a ton. I'm getting ready to start my 4th book, and that's not counting the book Core 52 that I do my morning devotionals with. So that's got a lot going on right there, and it's awesome. I'm doing push-ups before and after every walk. Started with 10 on the first week, and now I do 20 before and after each walk. I walk 3 times a day. My step goal right now is 20,000 steps. I try really hard to hit that every day. I don't always do it. Most days I do, some days I don't. But every step that I do get, trying to get there, is putting me in a better place. So that's where that is. And the 2 things that I'm going to implement for week 5 is, 1, being more patient with my family. They deserve the best me. They deserve a better me than I do. And sometimes I'm wound too tight, and I gotta relax and I gotta show them how much I love them. And so I'm gonna be more patient with them. I'm gonna work extremely hard in the coming weeks to do that. And the other thing that I'm going to do is I'm working toward a goal, and this goal may seem crazy to a lot of you, but I want to experience an ice bath like the athletes do after a marathon or a playoff game or just in their rehab work. That's been something that, as silly as it sounds, and a bunch of you may have already done it, and it may not be anything to you, but it seems like something that would just be hard physically, that you would have to get strong-minded and really let your mind take over to be able to do. And that's how I want to challenge myself with things like that. I want to do things, one, that I've never done before, never gotten to experience, and I want to do things that challenge me physically, mentally, and I think that's a little thing that will. So in preparation for that, I don't know when that's coming. That's just a goal. I want to do an ice bath at some point in time. But in preparation of that, I end every shower that I take now with nothing but cold water. Turn the hot all the way off, and I stand in that cold water, which is nothing compared to the coldness of an ice bath. But if you think that's easy and you're not used to it, kick that hot water off before you get out of the shower day, and it's not as easy as you might think it is. So I'm kind of training with that. But no, it's been an awesome ride. I've gotten to have 4 conversations that have meant I didn't know how this would impact me, but I have had conversations with 4 different men in the last couple weeks that have either reached out or I just kind of ran into them, and they took the time to tell me that I've done a couple things for them and encouraged them to start working to find their best self. and to do some things that has been on their minds, and they're holding themselves accountable and wanting to improve. And then something that is just, it hits me like a ton of bricks when at least two of those folks actually used the word inspired and said that I have inspired them to do new things or do better things or work on themselves. And that hit me harder than I would have than I ever expected something like that would. It's such a good feeling that Craig Hartledge is actually inspiring to someone. And if those four are the only ones that I ever touched that way, so be it. There's still four people that maybe are just a little 1% better because of me putting this content out here. So that was really cool. Cool conversations there with some guys that I really respect. So with that, I'll wrap up. Maybe a couple more weeks before I upload another video. So if there's anything that you want to know about, as always, shoot me a message. Throw a comment down there, and I'll see about getting some info out to you. So I love you guys. I'm gonna pray for you all week. I hope everybody stays safe and has great weeks. We'll catch you on the next one.